Hey all, John here, welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be talking about Tailscale and why I use it. So, before I used to host my VPN on my parents' UniFi Express. Now I know it's not the most powerful setup, but it worked. But over time, there was a point where the UniFi Express, it got overloaded and it rebooted the entire system. So I decided I'm going to move from using the UniFi IPsec solution that's on the UniFi Express and over to Tailscale, since they have a TrueNAS machine that's running. And from there, I can use that TrueNAS with Tailscale to actually have it replicate back to me on my TrueNAS system, which also has Tailscale installed. And on my third system, I can also set up replication on that. And of course, since Tailscale has really good mobile clients, I can now also use my iPhone to VPN back into my home network without going through the Ubiquiti Wi-Fi Man tool. And also, I can tunnel all my traffic back to my home network without having to worry about, hey, I don't have a public IP address or just routing through a different network. Since again, they don't have the fastest upload speed and they have a UniFi Express. I don't want to upgrade them just yet. So I know there are some alternatives to Tailscale out there. There's Zero Tier, there's NetBird, and I saw some other solutions like TwinGate, stuff like that. But I chose Tailscale because again, it's the most popular and it also has really good mobile support. I know with Zero Tier, the mobile clients do exist, but they seem, I'm not going to call them sketchy, but they don't seem as well developed. So Tailscale was my choice. It's free and it just works. So I'm going to show you on my desktop how I have my Tailscale portal set up, how I set up the TrueNAS app to have it connect to Tailscale, how you can set up exit nodes. We're going to talk about basically being able to access remote subnets over Tailscale as well. And then we're going to talk about how you basically can find your TrueNAS Tailscale IP address, since it doesn't show up in the UI. You have to go into the shell. But because I've been playing around with so many Ubuntu VMs, this will be somewhat easy. Now let's get over to the desktop and I'll show you how all of this works. So this is my dashboard. As you can see, I have quite a few devices connected. We have 3 TrueNAS servers. They're all online. My iPad, my iPhone, I have a virtual computer that's offline, and my MacBook, which is connected. As you can see, I have the client connected right there. So first thing we're going to do is go into TrueNAS. So as you can see, this is my main TrueNAS server that I use. I'm going to go into my apps so you can see what I have installed. So this is Tailscale. I'm going to show you how I have it configured. So we're going to go into the Edit tab. As you can see, I have my host name set. I have an authorization key. Now this is going to be hard to find in the portal if you don't know what you're doing, but I'll show you how all that works. Main options: authenticate once, accept DNS from outside people, and I want it to be an exit node. So this will allow me to tunnel all my traffic back to TrueNAS and have it exit through my firewall, so that way I can tunnel all my traffic and not have to be a split tunnel. So where a split tunnel would basically allow you to access your, let's say, the devices that are connected to Tailscale, but it wouldn't tunnel your internet through that. Advertising as exit node would allow you to send everything back through this. And then of course for my config, I have host network checks, so just don't forget that. For my config, I actually have it set to go to a specific data set. So let's say if I break my TrueNAS, I have to reinstall it, I can just tell it to go to that. And this has 2 cores and 1 gig of RAM. So how do you get your authorization key? So I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. All right, so here's my Tailscale portal. So what you'll do is you'll go over to settings, keys, authorization key. Now I'm paranoid, so I'll set this to 1 day. It's not a reusable key. I'll just say, let's say personal TrueNAS, call it that, 1 day, and I leave these off. Generate key, it'll give me a key, and that is what I pasted in here. Now, let's say you have that configured. As you can see, my TrueNAS server is connected right here. I have made some changes, so ignore that. The subnets that are not approved, those are fine. They just need to refresh. What I'll do is I'll go back over here. And I know in some of the tutorials, people talk about, hey, what is my Tailscale IP address? I know you can see it in the portal, but if you want to see it locally, it's not in here as a interface. So what I did is I did the basic IP-A, IP space A. Enter, and as you can see, if you scroll down, Tailscale is literally right here. As you can see, my Tailscale IP address is 100.73.50.76 with a /32 subnet. So if I go back, you can see it matches 76, 76. Just so you have it. Now, for the next server, I'm going to show you how to connect, not how to connect, but how I have my second TrueNAS server connected. I will log in real quick. All right, so this is my second TrueNAS server. This one isn't on the RC, it's just on electric eel, but that's okay. Same thing, installing the app, edit, to the time zone's correct, host name, a different authorization key that doesn't match the one that I'm using on my main server. Authorize once, or authenticate once. Accept DNS. This one's also an exit node, even though it's just kind of like a backup for me. Routes advertised, and of course, same thing. Host path set to it's set to a what's it called? A data set, and host network checked. 2 and 1 gig of RAM, 2 cores and 1 gig of RAM. Same thing here. We got IP space A, and that is my IP address in Tailscale. Pretty obvious, but it's there, even though it's already in the portal. Now, how do I set up replication between devices? Now, I think I may have talked about this in my previous video, but now I don't have anything set up on here to replicate other than snapshot tasks. So there's nothing on this side because I want my TrueNAS server on my side to pull it from them, not for them to push it to me, because I don't want my creds stored on their machine. I want to store it on mine, so I go to them, now they come to me. You know, if you know what I mean. So I should go to them to pull the data, not they send it to me, because I don't want my cred stored there just in case anything happens. So I'm going to show you how I have this set up. I may have gone through this in the previous video, but just so you get an overview, I log into their system and it pulls the data out instead of them logging into my system and pushing it to me, because again, I just don't want my creds on their system. So I just have it set up so my computer will connect to them over Tailscale. I'm using that tunnel, which is why I don't have user space checked. If you just try to do any CFS commands without sudo, it just won't recognize it, so you have to run sudo. So this is where you'll type in, let's say your TrueNAS _admin, the default account's password. It'll use sudo to authenticate and escalate to that higher level so you can run the ZFS pull push commands. You get the idea. I have it set up so it's pulling their entire drive, so that includes all of their data sets, and it goes to an SSD in my array right there. And of course I set as read only because I don't need to be making any modifications. I just want to be an active offsite backup for them. So that is how I have that set up. And of course let's see, we got the third TrueNAS server. Log in. And now for my third setup, this is the same thing, also on RC1. We're going to go into apps, Tailscale, edit. And as you can see, I have a different authorization key. Accept DNS, not running user space, and this is not an exit node since I don't need it to be. And it's not advertising any routes. Just need to have host network. And with this, I decided to do the IX volume, so there's no separate data set for the config. And it just works. This has 4 gigs of RAM and still has 2 cores. Since I have so much, I decided, you know what, I'll just have the default. And yeah, that is my setup. Now on my Mac, as you can see, I'm connected. I have one of those relay accounts. Oh, another thing before I forget, if this is a remote system you're configuring, make sure you have disable key expiry enabled. So basically, I think the keys expire, I think it's every 90 days, or is it 6 months? Okay, mine's set up, my laptop's at 6 months, since I've been running this for a while. But basically, if you don't disable key expiry, you'll have the server or whatever is connected disconnects because it can't re-authenticate. So just make sure you have that expiry disabled so you don't have to go back into a remote system you don't have access to. So that could mean you flying over and logging in manually. Don't have to do that. So nothing crazy going on. But for my Mac, this one, I'm just going to show you how this is configured. I don't have this set up to run an exit node right now. It's not connected to an exit node because I'm at home. This machine doesn't move much. For my settings on this side, we have allow incoming connection. So let's say if I want to do let's say a VNC connection back to my Mac, I can do that, or SMB if I want to access my local file system. Tailscale DNS is on, Tailscale subnets also on, and I have it set up to launch Tailscale on login. Now, I don't have my Mac set up as an exec node because, again, I have TrueNAS for that. We have local network access on, just like I said before. And basically, there's really nothing else to do. Auto updates are on. My account's logged in. We're all set. So I think that's basically the entire video. The iPad isn't that different. It's basically the same setup. I have it set up to go to an exit node, which is my TrueNAS Scale server, and I can access all of my remote services without being on my network. All right, well, that is a full overview of how I have my Tailscale set up. We're not going to go into ACLs or anything like that today, but hopefully this had some good value, added some value to your life with how I have Tailscale set up with TrueNAS Replication and how I have my, let's say, my Mac, my iPad, iPhone, all of that, be able to connect back when I need to. Stay tuned for the next video and let me know if you have any feedback.